I don't surf much, but when I do, I always sit at the shore and pause before paddling out. I stop and pray. In Hawaii, we call this pule tu keakua, and we take time to kilo, or become aware of our surroundings. I pray for safety and thank God for the beautiful Hawaiian beaches and scenery. But these beaches would not be possible without erosion. Erosion is the weathering or removal of one material from one place to another. Over time, lava rock and coral reef are ground into sand fragments. Much of the sand makes up our beaches, and over time, the sand is carried away by the ocean. There are many benefits to understanding erosion better. If we are mindful of how our aina is changing, we will be able to plan better with urban development along coastlines, manage flood damage to property, predict changes in tides or currents, or malama the biodiversity of our reef's ecosystems. Since I wanted to understand erosion better and I wanted to understand how our ocean affects this erosion, I decided to investigate. What is the effect of moving water on the erosion of rocks? I decided to use candy to represent my rocks, and shake a jar of water to represent the waves of an ocean. The candy had a variety of textures and densities to represent different types of rocks. I hypothesized that if I place candy in still water and moving water, then the candy placed in moving water will erode more quickly. To test this hypothesis, I set up a controlled group and an experimental group. Both groups had the same types of candy and the same amount of water in the jar, but my experimental group received an extra shake to represent moving water. I used the triple beam balance to mass the candies before and after exposure to water, and the difference between their masses equaled the amount of erosion that occurred. My independent variable was the motion of the water, and the dependent variable is the amount of erosion of the candy. See the video on measurements to get details on how I collected precise data. When I finished, I looked back at my data and saw my hypothesis was supported. Moving water did indeed create more erosion than still water. This experiment gave me a better understanding of how our Hawaiian beaches were created. Over time, water eroded away and more jagged and rigid lava rock to give us the smooth sandy bottom we enjoy when surfing, diving, or fishing. Because we understand how erosion occurs, we can definitely ho'ola la'a hui. We can plan better with urban development, manage flood damage to property, and malama the biodiversity of our reef systems. But don't take my word for it. See if you can replicate the experiment. The more scientists that repeat and replicate, the more data we have to support our hypothesis and verify our results. Go ahead and do it for yourself. And remember, science is everywhere.